Welcome to the Jewish Task Force, J.T.F. I'm Chaim Ben Pesach. This video is dedicated to elevating the souls, Ilui Neshamot, for Malka Bat Meir and Allegra Bat Shlomo. Our internet site is jtf.org, jtf.org.
Guys, welcome to Global Insights, and I'm very glad to host, as usual, Chaim Ben Pesach from New York, United States. Chaim, welcome.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's good to see you.
Always pleasure to have you on my show. And Donald Trump is just in a few days will be inaugurated to the President of the United States. And maybe we start with Israel. What does it mean for Israel?
Well, of course, I supported Trump for president, but I think the Jews in Israel and supporters of Israel have unrealistic expectations about what Trump will do. I hear people saying he's going to support sovereignty in Judea and Samaria for Israel and sovereignty in Lebanon and giving Israel sovereignty over Lebanon and Gaza. Those things are not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Trump, like all American presidents, makes his decisions not based on friendship or sentimental feelings, but on interests. All countries, this is something that's very important for people to understand and for supporters of Israel to understand. All countries make their decisions based on interests. What is in the best interest of the country? That's how foreign policy is decided in Washington and in every other country. And Trump right now is pressuring Israel to agree to a Gaza ceasefire and to end the war. He's putting a lot of pressure on Israel right now, which is not what Netanyahu wanted. So at least Netanyahu wanted more time to maneuver here. And so we have to understand something here, that Trump will act in what he views as American interests. And we have certain things that we have to, there's certain issues that have to be decided very quickly by Trump that will make a big difference for Israel. First of all, of course, the situation in Gaza. What is he going to do with Gaza? Is he going to force Israel to end the war on terms that are bad for Israel? It's possible. It is possible. Secondly, a nuclear Iran. Iran is close to building nuclear bombs. Everybody knows that. Trump understands that. Netanyahu understands that. And so the question is, what do we do about that? If Israel does not take military action against Iran, Iran will eventually go nuclear. And that will be very dangerous for Israel, for the United States, for the whole world. What will Trump do about that? Is he going to push?
Do you think he will take an action against Iran?
Military action?
Military, yeah, I mean military.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that he might. I'm hoping that he'll at least give Israel a green light to do that. I hope that he'll allow Israel to do it. And if he allows Israel to do it, I think Israel can do great damage to the nuclear program in Iran and can set them back a lot. If Israel, especially if Israel destroys the Iranian oil fields and if Israel destroys their infrastructure, that can have a big impact on their nuclear program. So I'm hoping Israel does that, because we're in very dangerous territory here. If Iran gets nuclear bombs, Israel, America, and the whole world is in great danger if that happens. And we're close to that right now. That's a big test coming up. So Iran is a big test. And there's one other test that's very important for Trump, that we're going to see which direction Trump wants to take here. And that's the question of sanctions. Sanctions are very dangerous for Israel when the United States places sanctions on Israeli citizens. It's very important that Trump eliminate and rescind those sanctions that the Biden administration placed on Israeli citizens and on Israeli entities. That is not the way friendly countries and allies deal with each other. Those sanctions have to go. By the way, the sanctions that were ordered by the Biden administration were only directed against Jews. No sanctions against Arab terrorists and Arab terrorist organizations in Judea and Samaria, only against Jews. So the sanctions were very one-sided, and it's very important that Trump eliminate those sanctions. The question is, which direction will Trump take now? Is Trump there because he's being pulled in different directions, and there is a real chance that he will take actions that Israel will not like. That is very possible. People assume that Israelis assume Trump is on our side, Trump is going to be our friend, Trump is wonderful. Not necessarily. If Trump thinks it's not in American interests, he's not going to do things that Israel wants. We have to learn to be realistic here. We have to learn that, again, foreign policy is decided by national interests. I believe that American national interests are with Israel. I think that would be wise for America to support Israel. I believe that. And there are people that Trump has in his administration that believe that. But he also has aligned himself with other forces that don't think that way. So we don't know for sure which way this is going to go right now.
Don't you think that Trump currently is going for the second term? It's actually the last time he will be the president, and he understands that. And he could be much different this time, you know. So, in his age, and when you last time the president, maybe you want to get to the history. You don't think so? Not only interests, money, you know, you may consider to become a legend.
I do think that's true, and that's what worries me. That worries me because the Trump plan for the Middle East is a Palestinian state. So that worries me. If he wants to go down in history as someone who made deals, who solved problems, and that could be very dangerous for Israel. And Trump especially can be dangerous for one reason. People in Israel love Trump. They love him and they trust him. And that means it's going to be, if he pressures Israel, it's very hard to go against what he says. And the people in America who support Israel, who are the people who support Israel in America? The tens of millions of evangelical Christians. That's the main base of support for Israel in the United States. Evangelical Christians who believe in the Bible and who believe that God will punish America if America doesn't support Israel and will reward America if America does support Israel. Evangelical Christians believe that. I will bless them that bless thee and curse them that curse thee. That's the main level. Those are the main supporters of Israel in America. But those people who, if it was Biden doing something against Israel, they would protest. They'd be against it. They would be fighting against it and supporting Israel. But they love Trump. Those evangelical Christians are very pro-Trump. So they may be silent if there's pressure on Israel.
It will be very hard to oppose him. Who will oppose him, you mean?
Yes, it would be very hard. Israel, so we could be in a very rough situation here. We need strong leaders in Israel. You need to have strong leaders who have a policy that is strong and that is effective in this situation and that won't immediately surrender. That's a question. That's a real question mark here. I think and again, I think the big test, we have three tests that we mentioned here: Gaza, nuclearized Iran, God forbid, and the third is the sanctions. Those are the three immediate tests that we have to deal with. And how Israel deals with those tests and how Trump responds, that's going to be a big question that's going to be answered very quickly, and it's coming up very fast. This is all coming very quickly upon us. And so supporters of Israel have to get ready very fast because things will happen that could decide the future of Israel here.
If we're trying to think wider than just Israel, in the recent press conference of Trump and some ideas which were raised before, for example, Greenland, Canada. Yeah, the Musk called the Prime Minister Trudeau the governor of Canada, and he now attacked the British Prime Minister. Yeah, and I think called him an idiot or something like this. Don't quote me, I'm just from my memory.
No, he did. He did.
He did.
He called him an idiot. Yes.
Idiot. Yeah.
Yep, he did.
So, can you explain what this is all about? What Trump really wants to expand the territory of the United States? What's the idea here?
Well, Canada is not going to become part of the United States. That's not going to happen. Trump can fantasize about that, But that's not. And by the way, I believe that Trump actually thinks that that's possible. If you know Trump, he really believes in these things. He thinks it's possible. It's not realistic. The Canadian people do not want to become part of the United States. Greenland is a different story. Greenland only has 56,000 people. It's the biggest island in the world. It's very strategically important for the United States, very important to the United States. And a little country, Denmark, currently controls Greenland. Trump is interested in Greenland because there are tremendous mineral resources there that can be very useful, especially in the computer age and especially in the competition between the United States and China that are on Greenland's territory. Trump is interested in that. How that works out in the end, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out in the end. But Greenland, actually, there may be some room there because 56,000 people, if Trump offers them enough money, if he offers them a lot of money to join, you never know what they might want to do. So that I don't know if you can rule that out. And of course, Trump has made he also is interested in the Panama Canal and in other issues that he's brought up. Trump wants to expand the United States and make America a bigger, stronger country. The question is, these proclamations that he's making, is this going to help the United States or not help the United States? I don't, I have doubts that these things are going to come to pass. But Trump is serious. He's serious about this. He really wants the United States to take over other countries and to become an empire. Elon Musk.
Regarding United Kingdom, it's usually the main ally of United States in Europe. Historically, historically, United Kingdom, it's kind of the brother state of United States. And during the campaign, the British Labour Prime Minister Starmer, he just spoke very not nicely on Trump. Yeah, so he was. I don't know why, but he decided to get involved in the American elections. He tried, to express his views, and speaking politely, he was gave very not nice comments on Trump. Compared him to some Nazi leader, and now we see that Elon Musk is actually attacking Starmer, and even I see in the United Kingdom, some people say it will be very difficult for this Labour administration to work with the United States. And the United Kingdom needs United States now, especially when it's now not part of the European Union. What do you think? What will happen in this aspect?
I think they have no choice. They're going to have to work together. But I do think there is going to be tension between a Labor government and the Trump administration. I think there's going to be tension there. But they have to cooperate. They have to work together. They have no choice. They have no choice. The United States and Great Britain can't pretend that they're not going to do trade and they're not going to work together and they're not going to be allies anymore. They can't. It's just something that can't happen. Elon Musk, he has gotten himself into quite a situation here because he's defending Tommy Robinson, who's in prison in Britain, and who is considered to be very extreme in Britain. And he's defending him and speaking about him as that he should be the prime minister. This is Trump. The Trump administration is not going to follow that line because Trump has appointed some very experienced people in other positions. And the Secretary of State is Senator Marco Rubio, who is very knowledgeable about foreign affairs, understands both Britain and Europe, and
he's serious
understands
guy. He's serious
very
guy.
serious. Yeah,
expertise on his side for sure.
Yes, and he's going to try to pull Trump in a realistic direction. But Elon Musk makes statements. Elon Musk is also praising other leaders in Europe, including a party in Germany. He's praising the party in Germany that that has in their ranks Holocaust deniers, and it's a party that is considered to be a front for former Nazis, and he's praising them, and that has outraged many people in Europe. So that's I think that what Elon Musk is doing can be very embarrassing to Trump and to the United States in the end. Because Trump has made him a spokesman in the administration. He's put him in charge of things in the administration. But in the end, I think that the new Secretary of State Marco Rubio is going to push Trump in a realistic direction. I think they have to.
Chaim, we speak about the international matters, but internally, what's the main challenges for Trump administration now?
Well, he's taken on a very ambitious agenda. He wants to close the southern border of the United States and prevent further immigration to the United States. If he does that, that will be very popular. Most Americans do want that. He also has promised to make deep cuts in spending. We'll see. When I see it, I'll believe it, because it's very hard to cut government bureaucracies and government spending.
There is a new ministry in place, the Dodge.
Right.
Which will be run by the Elon Musk.
Elon Musk
should optimize the processes and the government structure and
right. And Elon Musk wants to do with the federal government what he did at Twitter, where he got rid of 75% of the employees. I mean, he was serious about cutting 75%. He fired. I mean, he took very strong action, and so he takes bold action, Elon Musk. But the problem is, here he's going to need congressional support, congressional approval, and we'll see what happens. And the problem is most federal spending is off the table already. It can't even be considered, because Trump has promised not to reduce Social Security benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, and other entitlement programs. That's already 70% of the federal budget. And you have to pay the national debt. So they only have about 20% of the federal budget to work with in terms of trying to make cuts. How many cuts can you make?
But if I understand right, economically wise, it's a problem currently to print the money because the interest rate is very high. So you don't print money when you have such interest rate. On another hand, he cannot raise taxes because it's against all he promised and all he stands for. So if he needs to get money, he can only, reduce the spending. And I don't know to what degree he can do it actually. So it would be not easy for him to act in such conditions when he restrained from, economical environment. Or they will need to cut the rates, but it's also United States cannot cut the rates if the other countries they don't cut the rates. I mean, it's all complicated.
I agree with you, and not only that, Trump has promised to impose tariffs on all types of foreign governments and that could have a big economic impact on the United States. He's also promised. By the way, he's promised 50% tariffs on some countries. 50% tariffs. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but if they impose very stiff tariffs, that could have a huge economic impact. He's also promised massive tax cuts. He's promised major tax cuts, eliminating all taxes on Social Security, eliminating taxes in many different areas. So it's an agenda that's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy to do it without at least temporarily creating a big deficit in the budget. What will happen
again to create a deficit in the budget or simply print dollars? You need a low interest rate, and interest rate is not low now. It's not easy to print dollars when you more than 4% interest rate. It's a problem.
Not only that, if you're going to print dollars, that'll cause inflation.
Of course.
And inflation is one of the reasons why Trump got elected. The American people do not want inflation. And the more money you put into circulation in the economy, that's inflationary. So, and Trump has promised, among other things, he has promised to stop printing money. So he's promised to stop printing money. He's going to cut taxes drastically. He wants to impose big tariffs on foreign countries. These are gigantic changes that he would be making. And some of them are risky. Some of them are very risky economic changes. Now, when Ronald Reagan cut taxes, two presidents cut taxes drastically. Ronald Reagan and John F. Kennedy. They both did big tax cuts, and it helped the economy. It boosted the economy because people had more money to spend, businesses had more money to invest, and it actually helped the economy. So there is a history of tax cuts sometimes being beneficial to the economy. Also, after 9/11, George W. Bush cut taxes, and that also boosted the economy. The economy had a recession after 9/11, after the attack of 9/11 on the United States and the Twin Towers. The economy was in a recession. Bush cut taxes, and the economy pulled the economy out of the recession. So cutting taxes can boost the economy, can stimulate the economy. But he's promised taxes in areas like he's going to eliminate taxes for waitresses, that the tips that waitresses get, and tips that people that I don't know how much that's going to actually boost the economy. I don't know, but he's made big promise. He's made big promises in the area. I believe in low taxes. I believe in low taxes because I think that taxation hurts economic activity. And I think that once you have the government intervening and taxing heavily, that is a burden on the economy. But you have to the tax cuts have to be coordinated in a rational way that actually cause stimulation in the economy. Whether or not Trump is going to do it, we're going to find out. He's going to have a new Treasury Secretary who I think doesn't have a lot of experience in this. But anyway, we're going to see what happens. As far as interest rates are concerned, Trump doesn't control what happens with interest rates. The Federal Reserve controls that. And the Federal Reserve sometimes acts in his first term. Trump complained that the Federal Reserve was not cutting interest rates enough. He wants interest rates cut. He wants big cuts in interest rates. And the Federal Reserve refused to do that in his first term. So we'll see what happens in his second term. As you mentioned,
interest rates, you cannot just cut them. It's a global thing. You cannot, United States, if it will drastically now cut the rates, it will affect dollar, it will affect everything. It's not that easy to cut the rates. It's a global process and not easy. What is my point? I think they will go technologically wise to help American companies to lead the way, and they will probably change totally the policy on crypto and blockchain, because that doesn't require any investments. It's just a matter of regulation. And if Elon Musk is playing a key role in the new government, I think his agenda is very clear: pro blockchain, pro crypto. And the new ministry of efficiency is called Dodge, exactly the name of his cryptocurrency. I mean, it's not an accident, by accident. It's a policy, and I think they will promote it. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, I think it's technologically wise. If United States will lead the adoption of the cryptocurrencies, is not that bad. And I had some discussions on crypto, and many said, crypto is bad for the dollar. Bitcoin will replace dollar. And, I'm telling, just think about the stable coins. All stable coins, which are like dollar, yeah, USDC, USDT, all kind of dollar-like stable coins, how they connected to dollar. Because the creators of these stable coins, they need to acquire the bonds of the United States. So, it's again a new way of people from all around the world, not directly, but eventually to buy the bonds of the United States. I mean, it's not that bad for the US economy like it seems. And I want maybe last question, very frightening one. I had discussion about 5-6 months ago with a military historian in Israel, very good one. His name Yaron Pesher. He's expert for the World War II and military historian. And his prediction was in somewhere in February after Trump is elected is entering the office, we will have the beginning of the War 3 kind scenario, global conflict, China, Russia, you name it. And we see China is accelerating its plans to invade Taiwan. Trump is trying to stop the confrontation and the war in Ukraine between Russia and Ukraine. A lot of plans, but if it will not work out, I mean, we maybe find ourselves very in the different world like it happened in the World War I and World War II, just the way to the global conflict. What's you take on that?
Well, um, I think Trump will change U.S. foreign policy in terms of Ukraine and Russia. He plans to change that. I don't think he's going to give Ukraine tens of billions of dollars in assistance. I think that's going to end, and that will put a lot of pressure on Zelensky to possibly try to come to an agreement with Russia eventually. Eventually there's going to have to be some sort of agreement. Russia is not going to swallow up all of Ukraine. That's not going to happen, and Ukraine is not going to defeat Russia. So eventually there's going to be a negotiated settlement, I think, even though both sides now are taking very inflexible stands, but eventually there will be, and that's what Trump wants. Um, as far as China is concerned with Taiwan, um, China has very serious problems right now, very serious problems, economic problems, demographic problems. China's population is shrinking every year. They have very, very, very low birth rate. Many problems. The economy is very depressed. They have deflation in China, which is very dangerous. Deflation can lead to a depression. So China has really, really serious problems. For China to get into an all-out military confrontation now would be very, very dangerous for that regime. Um, I think there's going to be a lot of tension, and I think there's going to be a lot of conflict. I don't think we're going to head. I don't think we're going to have World War III. I don't think that's coming.
So
I don't
you're
think it.
optimistic.
Well, as far as that's concerned, yes. I don't think, because it's not in the best interests of the United States or of China or of other countries to enter World War.
I'm less optimistic than you do because I'm saying like World War I, like Russian Empire had no benefit to enter the war and did not want to enter the war, and it was after the defeat of Russia in the war with Japan. But still, the events played it that way that Russia had to go for the war, and the rest is the history. So I'm less optimistic because I think the current setup is very dangerous, and if Trump will manage fast to achieve agreement between Russia and Ukraine, yes, maybe it will change the situation. But if Putin will try to ask for more than it can be, and I understand now they have some very high uh, requirements, very high expectations from Trump. And if Trump is not going to deliver to Putin his wills, I don't know what will happen. He may try to escalate in Ukraine, and who knows. And the China, I'm every day reading how they prepare to invade Taiwan, and we know from what happened in Israel, when someone is preparing to do something, it eventually may may play out, and it may happen. Because we dismissed Hamas and we received this brutal attack. And I don't know. I'm not that optimistic, but let's see. Of course, no one knows the future. Let's see.
But assuming, first of all, I don't think that Trump will go to war with Russia. I don't think Trump wants to do that. I don't think he would go to war with Russia. And Europe is not ready to go to war with Russia, and I don't think they want to. Um, is there a danger? There's always a danger, but because of there's a difference between the first two world wars, and that's the nuclear issue here. Because of the nuclear weapons, because of that danger and the danger of a nuclear confrontation, countries are much more worried about the possibility of war between Russia and the United States. The world would be terrified if that happened because of the nuclear weapons now. And the same thing with China. China, even if China invades Taiwan, which might happen, even if China invades Taiwan, will the United States go to war with China over that? China would have all the advantages because Taiwan is close to China. All the strategic advantages would be with the Chinese if that happened. I don't know. I think there's no question we're entering a dangerous period of time, and we'll see what happens.
I'm Ben Pesach. Thank you very much. Guys, stay tuned on Global Insights for more. Like, subscribe, share.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.